Welcome to the Dog Chug. Roger, how you doing? But please do not talk about anything except how your Christmas was. I don't want to hear about your game experience because you do that every week and it pisses me off. I don't want to talk about it.
I know. I'm not, Andy. I'm not going to piss you off. You know what I wanted to ask you is, do you make New Year's resolutions?
Well, I actually wanted to go at the end of the show to kind of do a little roundabout where we ask everyone kind of a New Year's resolution for the Browns. So I'm going to save mine for the end of the show.
I got you.
To keep people listening because I'm sure they cannot wait to hear that.
Andy, we'll give them the whole seed here at the Dog Chug. They're only going to need the edge. You know what? I'm not good at them at the New Year's resolutions. I'm going to make one this year though, and I'll save it for the end. But I hope it don't go like last year's. And it was 50 sit-ups every morning when I get up, and that didn't get off the ground. Wow. So I hope this one works out a little bit better. But I'll save mine for the end. And we got a good show tonight. I think we got a good show lined up.
We have a great show. Some would say this is going to be the best episode of the Dog Chug we have ever done.
Ever.
So that's exciting.
Ever.
We have a awesome special guest who I see just joined. So that's amazing. And
all right,
we're going to have a lot of fun. But first, it was brought to my attention that I'm a little bit on the mean side to our great friend Ed. And I like to think I tell it like it is. And, if he earns me saying something insulting, then I'm going to say it. And last week I was very mean to Ross, who, proved he can't read. So I don't know how you feel, Roger. Am I mean to Ed unnecessarily, or please weigh in here.
I think you might be a little abrupt with them at times. Andy, you might be a little abrupt. And I can see sometimes your patience is tested. But I don't know if you're mean. I don't know what you do is constituted as mean. But you may get short with them from time to time.
Well, I happen to love Ed. I think he's very talented. He brings a lot to the show. There are some, obvious warts. Everyone that's met him, his wife, is clearly aware of that. But I definitely want to, do better and constantly be improving myself. So I am vowing for this episode of the Dog Chug that I am not going to be mean to Ed once, no matter how bad he deserves it. Hey, Ed, how's it going? I'm so glad you can join us tonight.
It's going wonderful, Andy. How was your Christmas with your family and everything? I hope you had a wonderful time. I'm so glad.
You don't have to be nice to me. I just have to be nice to you. We had a great Christmas. We actually kind of cracked open the door and got together with like a few members of our family. It's like the first risky behavior we've done since Delta. And then a day ago, I find out my grandma is tested positive for COVID and we're all exposed. So my poor wife is freaking out about that. But other than that, we had an amazing Christmas. It was great to see everyone. Do you think I'm going to be capable of getting through this entire show without being mean to you once?
No, because if I look at my name, social comments display here, click on them to showcase on stream.
Well, because
is that my name, Andy?
Your name is Ed in Columbus. I apologize for that. Nice hat, Ed. I agree. It is a very cool hat.
Yes. See?
We had that on last week.
See, Andy, you're doing a good job already with that. So okay. I think we're going to have a positive show. And we also have a positive guest.
You do think I'm going to be able to get through the entire hour without making fun of you once?
No.
Okay. Well, if I'm mean to you once, I think you should get a perk. So what would you like?
I like your hat that you're wearing.
You want me to send you this hat? So this is a Christmas present from my brother, so I can't give you this hat. But how about this? I will get you a Guardians hat as soon as I can if I am mean to you one time.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
If you think I've been mean to you, all you have to do is come on here and state it, and then we'll have Roger be the judge because he's very even
judgmental.
Yeah, he's great. So anyway. We'll see if I can be successful or if I have to send Ed in Columbus a Guardians hat.
I was going to have Ed DM you his address now and just get that out of the way.
You don't have any faith in me, Roger.
I know Ed. I know Ed.
Well, I'm very much in control, so I'm going to accomplish this. And,
okay.
Although when I drink the surge, I do get a little bit mean, so we'll see how that works out. All right. So this week, after not the best game we've seen, Roger, you came down pretty harsh on social media against our quarterback. You made a lot of noise about how you feel he is not the franchise guy. We get criticized a lot on the Dog Chug that we don't do enough X's and O's. We just have fun and nonsense, but people want to do a little bit of football talk, real football talk. So you are actually going to, I think you put together a little clip where you're going to do a little X's and O's with our quarterback.
Yeah.
I think Ross is going to help bring him on over here. So I think, Ross, do you want to bring up the video now, or I think Roger prepared some video, or Roger?
Yeah. Let me,
yeah.
And what I posted,
let me know.
I'll let you know, Ross. I'll let you know I never backed Baker Mayfield because he's Baker Mayfield. I didn't know who the hell he was until he planted the flag. I watched that game. I'm a Michigan fan. I fell in love with him, and I said, that's the guy we need to quarterback the Cleveland Browns. And I never once doubted him. And at no point Saturday did I think he was going to – he just kept digging deeper and deeper. And in the past, I would think, oh, he's going to pull this thing out. And last year he pulled – and he broke my heart. He broke my heart. I thought he was the one, and he's my fucking Fredo. I know it was him. I'll tell you what, if he doesn't come out locked in Monday, I'm going to send him fishing with Al Neary. But this is what I've never broke down film. And number one, I'm too much of a homer to do it. I don't know. I don't have the credentials. I don't watch all 22. I don't play fantasy football, Madden. So what I saw is, Ross, go ahead and play this video,
Okay, you got it up?
Yep. You're going to see him. He backpedals. And what he did, he never said it. Did you see him set his feet? Because I didn't see him set his feet. His front foot, if you look, there's another view of this play where it's from behind, and his front foot is like pointing to center field. Landry's in right center, and if he was any more open, he would have been a 7-11. He's not set. His mechanics are off. This isn't the Baker Mayfield that we saw last year, that we saw, sometimes this year. He looks uncomfortable. He just looks out of sync. On that back foot, I thought he broke his ankle on that. It's just bad footwork, bad mechanics, and he looks like he didn't expect Landry to come. I don't even know what he was doing out there. There's another one. Pull up that next one, Ross.
Okay, I'm working on it.
And I'm not a professional. I'm a plumber, but I can see that something's wrong with Baker Mayfield. What's this?
You know what? Knock it off. Now, I got Ross. Pull up some video. This is what the people really want to see about Baker Mayfield. Okay, this is what they really want to see.
Don't get mad, Andy. Whatever.
No. Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what you have.
Oh, this is very important. Now, guys, here's what you're going to see here. Okay, you're going to see a guy all about himself. Look at his moves right there. Look, he's probably got a torn labrum right there. Oh, look, but he can't plant his foot and make good throws. But look, he's planting his feet right there. He's a me guy. That's a me guy right there. Look at that. Yeah, that's not even. Look, that's juvenile. That's you won't catch him on Soul Train. I'll tell you that. Oh yeah, yeah. That's Oklahoma for you. Come on. You're supposed to dance after you win games.
Ed.
I'll show you what real dancing is, guys. I'll show you how to really get it done. This is what championship dancing is right here. When the Cleveland Browns win the Super Bowl, look at that. Look at that feet movement. Look at that. The guy, look at that guy. He's about to give a fist bump right there. Look at that. Because the guy knows. I didn't see any of his teammates in Baker's video. You saw none of his teammates give him a fist bump or any kind of that. Oh, they're just clapping because that's easy to do. That guy wanted to show me some physical love because my dancing moved him. That's what a championship guy would do.
Wow. Well, it took me every bit of patience not to criticize over that. You were asked to do a video of breaking down Baker's game, and you did him dancing. And I guess that's great. Good for you. That's very original. So thank you.
Thank you, Andy. I like the new Andy.
But I want to
It's a
get
new
back to
program.
actually breaking down Baker. I think I have an alternative play that was a little bit better. So, Ross, if you could bring that up.
You ready, Andy?
Yeah. Are we doing the flag one or the police one? I think we're doing the flag.
That Guardians hat's going to look really nice.
Okay, hit play. In this play, it's a very controversial game Baker was in. I know a lot of people are annoyed by this, but Baker plays for his team, and they talked a lot of crap about him all leading all week into this game, and he came out and won. Winning is fun. I like my quarterback when he wins, and I like when he does it confidently. I hope someday we get to see the flag planting Baker Mayfield in Cleveland again. So, yeah, this is where I want to be. And oops. And then I think you had a clip, Ross, you wanted to break down too.
I hope
Yeah,
it's
I got a
football.
pretty important one I got to break down here.
All right. I don't see that I can actually. Oh, here we go. All
All right, so if you guys remember this, he was at the Indians game, and he had a pretty fun moment during the game. They got the people going. There he is having a good time, like everyone else. Miller Lite, my beer of choice. Oh, what is that? Shotgun for everybody. Now that's what I want to see in my quarterback, a guy who likes to party. But also what I got for you is, in honor of John Madden passing away, we got to break this down the way John Madden would. So I got my scribbles here. So what you got here is we're gonna fast forward a little bit, but here you got Baker right here biting his beer. That's a safety risk right there. You got about already losing 1 or 2 ounces of beer there. You got people watching everywhere. You got a Miller Lite here, a Miller Lite there, a Miller Lite there. That's 3 Miller Lites. I don't know what everyone's doing.
Ross.
Coors Light over here. But I want to show everyone, the best technique we can use to shotgun a beer without wasting a whole lot of it. So, as you know, on the dog chug, I do shotgun a handful of beers here. So when you got it to start your shotgun, you want to be at this angle. You got an air pocket there. So you're gonna put your feet in that corner there.
Oh,
Whoa.
we're getting some feedback, Ross.
Turbulence. We're hitting turbulence.
Turbulence. Better.
I don't know. It's
You
weird.
You better start going.
Yeah, just
Well,
chug.
anyways, that's how you do it. Make sure you don't lose your beer. Put your mouth on it. A little beer drip there, but I didn't lose that. Very lost any beer there. So
Wow. I'm going to mute you for the second. Well done. Although I think it's cooler when you use your teeth to bite into it. Even if you waste a little beer, it's a pretty badass move.
Yeah.
Anyway, this does bring up something to my attention, and that is actually Ed and Roger were very controversial about Baker Mayfield this week. They made a lot of comments. In fact, they even chased our good friend Kyle off of our group chat, who took it a little personally.
What?
Yeah, no, you guys were ruthless in the chat, and he just up and left because he couldn't take it anymore.
I was being honest. Ed was being ruthless.
Did you not watch the Barking Browns last night and how much I
Your bitter Buckeye was coming out all week, Ed.
I have
Bitter
not gotten.
Buckeye was coming out all week.
It's been a crazy week at the Mansion household, so I've not gotten a chance to watch, but I cannot wait to. Anyway, I think Ross and I are definitely concerned about Baker Mayfield, but we're still believers in 6 that he'll hopefully get it together. Roger and Ed had sort of lost the faith, so I thought it'd be fun to do a little Baker Mayfield bet for this week's game against Cincinnati. He always does pretty well against the Cincinnati Bengals. So how about
Aren't
we
they
say,
playing Pittsburgh?
what's that?
Isn't he playing Pittsburgh?
That's right, Pittsburgh. We're talking
Monday, not Sunday.
Sorry, I'm a little out of sorts today. We're going through some stuff, but no worries about that. Everything's great. End of the day, we're playing Pittsburgh, and will Baker Mayfield have, if he has 2 touchdowns, Ross and I win. If he has 0 touchdowns, Roger and Ed win. If he has 1 touchdown, then I think we should determine if he has over under on passing yards. What would a good over under be for passing yards?
225 for him.
225.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, 225 though. That's like an average game, right?
Well, he doesn't really.
At this point, I'll take
really,
an average game from him.
All right.
Andy,
how about
if he throws a touchdown to Pittsburgh, if it's a pick six, does that count as a touchdown for Baker?
Oh, it has to be a touchdown for the Browns. 240 yards will be the over under if everyone's okay with that, Ross. And then here's the winners of this bet get to write the live ads for the next 2 weeks that Ross and I or Ed and Roger will have to live read. They will not be able to prepare. They won't see it until they're reading it on the air. So we can write whatever we want that the other one has to read. It'll be hilarious. Sound good? Is everyone game for that?
I'm game.
All right.
Man, what did I get myself into?
Well, look at it this way. Baker's either going to have a great game and you'll have to read a live ad, or he's going to have a terrible game and you get to prepare a funny ad for me or Ross.
I will be more than happy to do a live read. I will do 2 of them if he goes out and has a good game.
Yes.
Sounds good. So I'm excited about that. We'll see how this week goes. I also want to bring up something. A couple weeks ago, we talked about having a little producer game work between Ross and Ed, and we've actually, Roger and I have been talking about that idea and trying to make it become a reality. Oh, sorry, I forgot that I was still muting you, Ross. I'm asking your opinion, and I have you muted. And
that's usually what you do to me.
I'm back.
So anyway, we wanted to do a game where Ross and Ed would battle each other. I want it to be a very fair game that you both would have an equal chance of winning. I'm not going to tell you what the game's going to be. We're going to do this next week, actually. And the winner of this game, whoever wins, the week after the Cincinnati is going to be able to take over the show. They're going to get the ability to control the show, run the show. And actually, Ross and Ed are going to be the ones being the hosts of that show. And Roger and I will be relegated to producing duties. We'll pop in and out as you see fit. So you'll get a whole episode.
Oh, man. Ed's looking his chops. He's ready to keep Andy in the green room.
Andy, have you been in that room? It's disgusting. They keep it. It's a disaster. We got to get your custodian or somebody.
Hey, it's where all the magic happens, man.
That's right.
Dirty socks.
Special sauce.
Dirty socks everywhere, just laying and strewn about. It's bad.
Empty beer cans.
It's like a frat house.
It looks like the Muni lot. It's like the Muni lot after a game.
It's like the Muni lot on a Monday morning.
They actually clean that Muni lot up like super fast. A couple times.
Good job, guys. Good job, Cleveland.
They're still there, waking up when they clean it.
There have been a couple times I've gone out after the Browns game, and then when I went back to my car, it's everything's gone. Amazing. It's like 4 hours later, it's all cleaned up. Anyway, so that's going to be really exciting. We'll get to see if Ross gets to run the show or if Ed gets to run the show, but they'll both be in charge of the show, and we'll see how they do. Ed, I think you're going to do great. I have 100% confidence in you.
I love this new Andy. You must really not want to send me a Guardians hat. You must really,
All right. I know I do not want to send you a Guardians hat. That's absolutely true. Maybe I'll send Ross one just to rub it in your face. Ooh, is that mean?
Roger, we need a call here. I'm challenging.
Towing the line.
I'm towing the
line. No, that wasn't mean. It was just no, that wasn't mean enough. Not for a hat.
All right.
Close call. All right, we're going to say goodbye to Ross, but Ed, we're going to keep you on because I believe you have a live ad that's going to help generate some much-needed funds for the Dog Chug. So are you ready?
Absolutely. The Dog Chug is brought to you by Baker's Wheaton Brownies. Want a baked good that wins on Sundays? Our brownies are baked and aged 28 years, like Brandon Wheaton, and wrapped in an edible American flag, the same flag that Brandon Wheaton got trapped under, but was cut up. Baker Wheaton Brownies for those fans who like brownies, but really just want to enjoy a game that they most likely will want to forget when it's all said and done. You got to review the tapes. Baker Wheaton Brownies are great for game days. What time's the game, man? Already started. Far out. Absolutely. Also, Baker Wheaton Brownies are a great tool to use as a holistic mental health supplement. We lost. Bummer, man. Got any more brownies? Baker Wheaton Brownies. They're good. They're awesome. We sell them everywhere. You can find desecration gummies. Also sold in the state of Michigan at all DMV. So check them out, man. And also, if you use our promo code 4PICKS, you get your wide assorted a range of brownies, and some of them are magical. So get Baker Wheat and Brownies, proud supporter of the Dog Chug.
Wow.
Wow.
Great
Those
job
spots.
Ed did. That was amazing. He showed an ability to read that was almost as good as Ross's last week.
I think I'm the ad man for the Dog Chug. I don't know. You let me know.
Also, he really liked to. First of all, we have a podcast that I think only like hardcore Browns fans listen to, and he had to explain the jokes, which I guess is great because people need the jokes explained to them. So good job, Ed. You did fantastic. I'm so skirting the line here. This is tough, but anyway, great job, Ed. You did awesome. I just want it was pretty
Awesome job, Ed.
You did awesome. You wrote that yourself. Did you?
I'm almost gonna look. You're teetering on me throwing a red challenge flag to Roger right here, but you know what? I do think it's in fun. And honestly, my reading was not quite to Ross's level or lack thereof.
Did you practice reading that?
I actually did practice a little
Wow.
bit. Yeah, I know. So honestly,
no, good job that you would practice that. That's amazing. That's awesome because sometimes people just come on and they think they're going to be able to wing it and they can't. But you had confidence. You would practice and you come on and do great. You did amazing.
It was still better than Baker's performance on Christmas Day.
Oof. Yeah, let's not talk about that. All right, let's get rid of Ed and let's see. I think we're ready to bring on our featured guest. And
I can't wait to meet him.
Why don't you introduce our guest who needs no introduction?
I started talking to Jay a while ago, and what I started doing is I was actually watching his podcast. He has a podcast. It's on usually 7 p.m. Sunday nights after the Browns game. It changes if they have a different time slot. And then I connected the dots. I don't even know how I found that Twitter page before. Always Positive Jay, and he's always positive. I know he came in second in the RBS. I don't listen to RBS. But he came in second in their big contest that Ed didn't come close in, I think, is from what I heard.
Well, I'm glad you said that, not me. I think Ed did great on that contest.
I'm the one being mean to Ed tonight. But always Positive Jay. He's always upbeat. He and their podcast is fantastic. His partner Kevin is just tremendous. But he always and he's not a homer. He's not like me where he's like saying crazy things that don't make sense. He always has good takes, and he's always positive and always looking at the bright side of things with the Cleveland Browns.
All right. Well, let's bring him on. Always Positive Jay. Welcome to the Dog Chug.
How's it going, guys?
Did you?
Jay, welcome.
You hear me loud and clear?
We can hear you great. Do you have a beverage?
I'm not a real big drinker, to be honest with you.
That's probably why you're always positive. So I love it.
I forgot to tell Andy. Yeah, he's not a big drinker. I told him that's fine. We'll drink twice as much for him.
I'm about one of the few men in Northeast Ohio has no alcohol in my fridge right now.
Wow. I don't know. I asked Jacob Roach on the first episode of this dumb show if he had a beer for something, and he did not either. So you're not the only Browns fan.
I said I'll drink twice.
We got a Lake Erie highball here, as we call them.
Nice.
You got the Miles Cup, I see. $8
No,
soda.
that's the Jarvis one.
Oh, is it the Jarvis?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Roger said you came in second place in the Real Big Show contest. How did that feel?
I think I was robbed, to be honest with you. But no, it was all fun. I know so many of those guys down at that station, if you like them or don't like them, whatever. So I felt like it was almost unfair because I'm actual friends with a lot of them, so they couldn't. I don't know. You could always ask Ed whatever happened to RJ's lost votes, though. There's the controversy behind this whole thing.
All right.
He filled me in a little. There he is.
Look, I honestly, I think Jay deserved to win. I do think that Aaron. Look, I'm a diva like Aaron Goldhammer, and I think that bit. I think that they wanted somebody that isn't as involved as Jay would be, And I think that unfortunately that robs the fans of that
I
opportunity.
think you nailed that too.
Jay is a great ambassador, and I love Jay, and but I love me, and but
Hey, I gotta admit, I saw those moves, those dance moves live.
yes,
Wow.
he did.
Ed's
Jay
got
was
the
there.
moves.
Jay was
He's
there.
got the moves like Jagger, man.
The whoop-de hell bash before we got crushed by Tennessee. That was Aaron Goldhammer once again jinxing us. But Jay deserved to be the RBS president, and nothing against Ellison Orlando, who is the president now. But Jay would have been a man of the people actually in Cleveland. The fix was in. There were some missing votes. But
no one knew what happened to RJ's votes. They just disappeared.
Are they going
I was half tempted to raid just riot and go storm the studio, but those people on January 6th ruined that and made it look like a bad idea all of a sudden. So I didn't do it.
January 6th is coming right up. Maybe we do that for the anniversary.
I don't want to do anything those people did.
Fair enough. I guess I would agree with that. Are they doing this contest again next year?
No, I think they do it every time there's a presidential election.
So in 4 years. So will you run again in 3 years?
Sure.
Nice. Well, you have our votes. So
you got my vote, because a guy in Orlando should not be. It's got to be a Cleveland. It's got to be somebody here.
Well, did you know who the first one was?
Who?
Pumpkinhead.
Oh.
Yeah, the guy he was bashing me during that whole week and caught a lot of backfire for trying to do that.
So it kind of sounds like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They never get the right people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I wouldn't be upset about it in the slightest. The fact that you didn't win means you're the better candidate, in my opinion. So anyway, one more question for you. What is your favorite part about doing a podcast?
Doing the victory podcast, I struggle when we lose because Kevin doesn't want us to swear on our thing, which is okay. I understand. He's trying to get a job on the radio, so he doesn't want to get used to swearing. Where when we lose, dude, I'm not positive, Jay. I'm pretty pissed off, Jay, to be honest. So I struggle not to swear. But yeah, I just love talking Browns. I've been like my whole family growing up, my whole life, have always said I should do something with sports.
Nice. Well, we love talking Browns, and you can come on and swear anytime you want on this show because we aren't trying to do anything except make a couple people laugh, which I'm not sure if we've done that yet. I don't know if you watched the earlier show, but we've got an uphill climb. Anyway, let's move on to one of our favorite games on this show. Oh, Ed wants to jump on. Hold on. Ed, do you have something to say? I cannot wait. Everything you bring is amazing.
Why can't I see Ed?
I don't know.
But I will say one thing.
I got a black screen for Ed. It's just blank.
We can see him.
Jay is such a man of the people that Jay, I want you to say this because I know this a little bit because I know you, but tell them about your father and what he has accomplished in the city of Cleveland.
Oh, my dad was a crane operator, so he built all the stadiums, all the arenas, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like that just injected Cleveland fandom right into my veins.
Wow, that's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, he took down the original Chief Wahoo at the old Municipal Stadium, put up what was the Indian sign now.
What about
first guy to complete a pass in the stadium of or what was Cleveland Brown Stadium at the time, and first person to slide in home plate at Jacobs Field.
Wow, he didn't put up the Guardian sign above
no, he's retired by then.
Did he? I don't know if anyone caught that. Anyway,
I was saying he retired. He had nothing to do with the Guardian
whoever
sign.
Took over didn't know what they're doing, and that's why that sign fell. Ed, what are you doing?
I'm being off-centered. I know what you were talking about, Andy. You're making fun of the Guardian sign because it was off-centered. Wow. I know what you were doing.
Great job. That was amazing.
Thank you, Andy.
The audience caught that.
Always positive, Jay. Andy's being nice to me and being positive because if he's not, then he has to send me a Guardians hat. So I love the fact that you're bringing the positivity. But if somehow you can make him trip up and he says something mean to me, I get a Guardians hat. So you're allowed to be negative if it helps me be positive with a hat.
All right. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure they did.
Positivity breeds positivity.
That's
He's
right.
gonna. If longer I'm on the show, he might just get nicer. I think you're out of luck with your hat, bro.
Thank you. You're the first person that has faith in me. Roger, were you trying to say something?
No. I want one of them buttons. You know how you get rid of Ed? Since you're being nice, I want the button.
Oh, yeah.
To get rid of Ed.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on to our famous game, Spit, Sip, Chug. I'm going to read an announcement, something about the Browns or Cleveland teams. If you strongly agree, you're going to say that you chug, and you're going to explain why. If you are tepid, you're going to say you sip. And if you strongly disagree, you're going to say you spit. First statement, pretty simple. Early this upcoming summer, Browns will be the favorites to win the AFC North after the draft and after the free agency. Jay, we'll start with you. Do you agree with that? Are you tepid or do you disagree?
I'm gonna sip it. I think Cincinnati is going to be the favorite to win it.
Okay. But you didn't spit, so that means you're not 100%.
Season's not over yet. I mean, we beat Cincinnati and we somehow get into these playoffs. Everything changes.
Well, I'm asking about like the after this next free agency period. Obviously, the Vegas is going to judge where all the 4 teams stand. Will they think the Browns have the best chance of winning the AFC North in 2022? Which this season is a lost cause, so I'm not worried about. It's not a lost cause yet. We'll see how that plays out. But even if we make it to the playoffs, I don't think we have an elite team this year. But will we have an elite team next year? Is the question.
Actually, think we have an elite team, to be honest with you. As if we go back and backtrack everything that's happened to this team with injuries and COVID and it all, I mean, I could pinpoint it all in one single play when Baker tried tackling somebody. But like I said, if you close the season out strong, it's how you finish, not how you start. That's true. That's how they're gonna view you next year. So they always remember you by your last game. You know what I mean? So
100%.
If you have a stellar, awesome last game, they're going to be like, all right, they fixed what there was wrong with them. That defense has really gotten together already. All we got to do is fix our offense, which is, easier said than done. But if they do that, I mean, they might look at it and be like, these guys are back on track. They are the favorites for the AFC North. But if they keep regressing and keep losing like they are, they're going to probably put them in third place.
That totally sounds like, yeah.
I am going to spit on this one. I think, until the Browns prove they they've got it together, there's just going to be doubters. I think you said it exactly. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. But I think at the start of this race, no one's going to be believing in the Browns. I think the Ravens are equally as crippled as we are this season as far as injuries and losing players. They're going to be probably the favorites. You also have Cincinnati, who has a pretty impressive offense. I don't know what they're doing on defense, but it's a 3-way race. I don't think the Browns are going to be the favorites. So I spat on that one. Roger, what do you think?
You know what? I'm going to spit on that too, and the Browns never get respect. It's a lot of media hype, but as far as the NFL and Vegas are concerned, Cincinnati, I think no matter what happens next week, Cincinnati will come out as the darling because in the draft, they're not going to do the smart thing and protect Joe Burrow with some offensive linemen. They're probably going to go out and get another wide receiver, or a tight end, or a cornerback. And he's already hailed as the best quarterback in the AFC North. So I think Cincinnati will be the favorite coming out no matter what happens at the end of this year.
All right. Okay, we're going to move on to question 2. Given the injuries to our offensive tackles, Baker's shoulder, and the poor play of our wide receivers, it's actually unfair to judge Baker Mayfield's 2021 performance to date. I'm going to start this one off, and I am going to chug on this one. I think I'm very concerned about Baker Mayfield long-term. I think every season you're going to be dealt with adversity. It's how you deal with the adversity. I just think the Browns and Baker Mayfield especially has way too much adversity going on. I'm actually legitimately excited, a little bit concerned, but to see how he can progress in the 2022 season. I think he's definitely going to be back. I'm going to be rooting for him. So I think, Roger, when you say all these negative things about Baker, it's going to be thrown in your face when he comes back in 2022 and plays strong. You're gonna be reeling those comments back a little bit. So, Roger, it's your turn.
I'm going to sip on this because it's 50-50. I can't, part of the blame is the wide receiver room that was way overhyped. It was based on a wide receiver that we gave $15 million to that turns out to be a pretty decent wide receiver too in Los Angeles. And he's not a number one wide receiver. But the wide receivers and the tight ends and the drop passes doesn't account for his poor decision-making, his bad footwork, his bad mechanics. I think Baker Mayfield needs to really buckle down and put into work in this coming offseason. They're going to give him the 5th year, and see what happens. And I'm going to sip on it.
All right. Jay.
I might as well do a keg stand. I'm chugging this thing so hard. I told you guys, man, if you look from when Baker got hurt on that tackle, it's day and night what he's done from this season. Like, even in that game, it's just completely different. And Jarvis getting hurt is really derailed a lot, I think, myself. But Hunt going out really hurts a lot. You got your tackles are in and out. Like, there's just been no chemistry whatsoever on this offense. And next year, I think we're going to draft a receiver, and I really think we're going to fix that offense next year.
I can't wait. Okay. I'm so excited. I love having always positive Jay on. It's music to my ears. I do have to ask, have you ever done a keg stand?
Yeah.
So there was a
period. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was a huge drinker. I mean, I used to be a bartender. I was a bouncer. I just got kind of sick of the hangovers, to be honest with you.
Nice. Well, I'm sure I'm going to get there someday when I'm 90. All right, let's move on to question 3. The Cavs can weather the storm of losing Rubio for the season and keep the winning going. Roger, we're going to start with you.
They have a lot of firepower. I'm going to read it again to me, Andy, just so I know that I have it.
Yeah, the Cavs lost Rubio for the season today, who's a critical component of their success. Can they weather the storm? Can they keep winning without him?
Absolutely. I think they can because they have a lot of firepower coming off that bench, and they can come at you so many different ways. It's going to hurt because he was just, I mean, he had a pass the other night underneath the basket with a no look, and it was one of these shovel passes, and I think it was Mobley coming down the lane for the dunk, and it was the prettiest pass I've seen in a long time. It was bird-esque. It was just beautiful. But I think they're going to be able to weather the storm because of a pretty deep bench. And I think that they'll go out and get somebody to try to replace him or to fill that spot. So I'm chugging on that. I think the Cavs can take this injury and absorb it and continue on.
All right. Ed wanted to come on and say something, so we'll give him that opportunity because we love when Ed comes on.
Yes, we do. I love the new positive Andy. But I want to give a shout out to Jason Hand of the Browns Huddle, actually giving legitimate Browns points and saying that next year that the Browns are going to have to earn the legitimacy to be the contender that we think. So I think that I believe that he thinks that I think that he's sipping on that for that answer. And shout out to Jason. We love him. And thanks for your support.
All right. Let's go back to the question about the Cavs and Marco Rubio. Jay, how would you answer that one?
I would chug as much as I love the Rubio signing. I think he's been one of the best free agent pickups of anybody. Like, wow, what a find. But Darius Garland's already proven that he could step up, and I think he's going to step up more. But I also think this is going to give a chance for Evan Mobley to step up and be even more of a focal point in this offense and take his game to the next level.
All right.
Hey, maybe we bring back Delly. Who knows?
Delly's probably
Dellavedova, yeah.
Is he playing?
Oh man, I trolled everyone on Twitter with him the other day so bad. It was great.
Isn't he still concussed though from last season?
Oh yeah. I really don't want Delly back. I love Delly, but to stay in Australia and play out there for your country.
I am actually going to spit on this one. As
Ding!
Cavs team.
You need one of those sound effects when you spit.
Oh no, I just spit right on the floor. It's awesome.
Oh no, you need the metal bucket. Ding!
There you go.
A spittoon.
A spittoon. I'm spitting on this one because I think his play is really what was missing last season. I love Garland, but he's not really the ball distributor that we need. And we had no backup point guard. I just don't see how we recover from this. Obviously, they're going to bring someone in, and it depends how close he's able to play to Rubio. And I'm not convinced they're going to be able to do it, but I am hopeful. I'm always positive, so I'm hopeful, but I'm very worried this is going to really stop the winning for the Cavs, which sucks. This injury probably was one of the worst things that could happen, in my opinion. Obviously, losing Mobley or Garland would be the top two, but this I think would be the third guy we cannot lose.
I agree with you. It was a big loss, man. And
we chugged that they're going to be fine.
I know, but I mean, as far as losing him is a big, but I think they can absorb it.
Wow, I'm very influential. It just turned Roger around. Let's move on to question 4, and this is a 2-part question, so you're actually going to have possibly 2 answers. If the Browns had shut down Baker week 3, the Browns' win total would be better than it currently is, and Baker's reputation would be better than it is. And Jay, we're going to start with you.
I'll chug on both. Totally agree, and I wish they would have shut him down. I've been hard on Stefanski, not for his play calling of last, like I think me and you were talking about on Twitter. I'm hard on him for not making the tough decision to sit the kid. I know it's not easy, but he should have been sat a long time ago and let him heal. You're paying Case Keenum a lot of money to be a backup. He's a good backup. He'll win you a couple games, especially in Detroit. God, I still can't believe they started Baker for that, but yeah, I think right now, I mean, the injury hurt Baker, but now I think it's getting to be a lot of mental with him too. I think it's compiling on him.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to sip on the win total would be better. I'm not convinced, Case Keenum would be any better than what we've seen. Obviously, we would have won the Green Bay Packers game with probably Case Keenum because we just needed average quarterback play, and that's what I think he gives you. But I'm not convinced we'd actually have more wins. I think there would have been a loss there somewhere. But I am convinced his reputation would obviously be better if he had been shut down because watching his limited play has just made every hater think that they're absolutely right. We're going to find out next season, though. So I'm excited for that. Roger, what do you say?
I think our record would have been better. I think they should have sat him down. I don't understand when you pay a backup $7 million, why you don't sit him down. They sat Lamar down. They sat Murray down in Arizona. And why didn't the Browns shut Baker Mayfield down? That's the question that keeps going over and over in my head. You're paying Keenum $7 million. He should be, for that price and for that amount of money, he should have been able to go in there and win some football games.
Hey, if Colt McCoy can win you games, I'm sorry, Case Keenum's better than him.
Yeah, yes. I just, and then the second part of it, I don't think his reputation, you either love Baker Mayfield or you hate him. There's nobody in between. I don't think if you shut him down or if he lost every game up until week 18, it's not going to change. You either love Baker. You might have a few people like me that have always backed him that now I don't hate him, but I don't believe in him right now. But I don't think it would have been a big drastic swing if they sat him down. The Baker haters hate him no matter what. So right. I guess I'm chugging and spitting and sipping. I lost track, Andy.
Yes, fair enough. All right, we're going to move on to, I think, Roger, you prepared a top 10 list.
I do. We're almost to the end of the show, huh?
I hope so.
What we have here tonight is our top 10 list that we do. It's the top 10 reasons Ben Roethlisberger needs to retire. All right. Top 10 reasons Ben Roethlisberger needs to retire. Number 10, His depends are easily visible under the road uniform. Number 9, no teammates will room with him on the road. His sleep apnea machine is too loud. The sleep apnea machine. Number 8, he refuses to do film study until Jeopardy is over. That's a good reason to Number 7, 4:30 games interfere with the early bird specials at Denny's. That is the 7th. Number 6, trainers are refusing to cut his crusty, gnarled old toenails. That's number 5. The I've fallen and can't get up people refuse to respond every time he's sacked. They won't come out, Andy, when he hits the button. Number 4, his parking spot at Heinz Field is an ADA handicap parking spot. It's a reason that he should retire. Number 3, his Social Security and pension now count against our salary cap. That's the number 2 reason. It's getting harder and harder to convince cocktail waitresses he's actually in the NFL. It's getting rough out there for him. And the number 1 reason Ben Roethlisberger needs to retire is going to be brought to us by our good friend Jessica. Roll the tape.
All right, here we go. Jessica, thank you so much for sending this to us. What is the number 1 reason that Ben Roethlisberger has to retire?
Every time Big Ben drops back to pass, he loses his grip on his walker. Every time Big Ben drops back to pass.
In case you want to hear that one twice. Wow.
That is and the tennis balls, Andy. They're not NFL approved. The tennis balls on the walker. That is our top 10 for tonight. I'm Roger First in Cuyahoga Falls, and you're not.
I just got to bring up Roger obviously loves David Letterman so much, and every time you channel David Letterman, I just cannot stop laughing. So
I was watching YouTube videos of David Letterman's Big 10 or top 10, and I can't do David Letterman.
Yeah. No, you're channeling him. I can see it. It's great. Your version of David Letterman.
What do you think about that for entertainment, Jay?
Pretty good stuff there, man. I was laughing. Try not to I didn't want to laugh too hard and like drown you out.
That's elite content right there. Kids at home, if you want to put out elite content, watch the Dog Chuck.
We're gonna check out the Voice of Cleveland next week, and if you do a top 10 list, we know we influenced you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We are influencers.
What do they say? Mockery is the greatest form of flattery or something like that.
We had Jacob and Nick had us on their podcast, which was awesome. It was so much fun. But the next week, all of a sudden, Jacob's drinking alcohol on his podcast, which I don't think you would have ever done before. So
they're doing jokes. They're doing our shtick sometimes.
We love it though. They're the best.
Barking Browns Tuesday nights, usually 8 p.m. I steal anything I know about football. I steal from Jacob.
That's right. That's why we do our show the day after there, so we can listen to them. And now we know what to say. I got to ask though, it's the voice of the Browns, but aren't there multiple? Shouldn't it be voices of the Browns, or does that just not sound good enough?
It's the voice of the land, actually.
Voice of the land. Yes, that's right. Sorry.
The voice of the land.
Can't even whatever.
See, now I'm filling in technically right now. Nick Paulus from ESPN he got the job to actually do the Browns' actual post game. So I'm filling in for him. And I'm not quite sure where this is going to go when this season ends, to be honest with you.
Well, if you want, you can come over and take over. I almost said Ed, but I'm going to say you can take over Ross's spot.
Oh, I wouldn't. I can't do that to those guys.
No, I mean, they send you packing. You'll have a home here because you're great.
You have a home.
You always have a home here.
So what do you guys think about all these the Baker wars that's going on Twitter these days?
I think people are, in my opinion, the way I see it, everyone likes to have an opinion about Baker Mayfield, and then it's all about taking the evidence in the short term and stretching it out to the long term. And at the end of the day, we cannot say that Baker is a shitty quarterback. Drew Brees, right? He had an injury, and then he was kind of up and down, and the whole fan base, was up and down about him, and then they sent him packing to the New Orleans Saints, and look who he became. I would hate life if that happened. If we remove Baker Mayfield from the Cleveland Browns and then he becomes what I think he is, that would be.
That's the fear with all players that leave here, though. With us, if you haven't noticed.
I think like with quarterback, it's just multiplied by 10, right? I mean,
yeah, totally. Because I mean, we've had so many great ones since '99.
Demario Davis left the Cleveland Browns, and he was awful when he was here, right? And then he became
he was good when he was here. He was just on an awful team.
Sure, right, but no one equates that to like, no one talks about Demario Davis being a great player on a team. If Baker Mayfield went and was great somewhere else, that we would be haunted by it every day, and it would be the worst thing ever, in my opinion. So I think we just need to settle down with trying to determine if he's a franchise guy or if he's not. He's going to be back next year, so let's root for the best. Let's be positive and see where it goes. And guess what? If he sucks next year, we don't have to like double think it. We could just say, yep, it didn't work out. We're sending him to the pasture. And we can go. But to have an opinion that he absolutely sucks or he's amazing right now is kind of just silly, in my opinion.
My whole theory on all this is like, I always root for I look at the team I root for is just like the team I play for. Like if you're on my softball team, I treat you the same as like the team I root for. So if you're on my team or a team I root for, all I'm ever going to ask is you give everything you got. Try your hardest. And I'll live with any results. Because you're on my team, I'm going to support you. I'm not going to try to bring you down. I'm always going to try to bring you up. But if you're pulling a Kenny Britt and you're out there in practice dancing when you should be busting your ass, I'm going to call you out on it with the quick. But I cannot understand, like, I can understand frustration with the player, but straight on hating on him and wanting gone and all this stuff, it's like, that drives me insane, to be honest with you guys.
All right, so what about this? Baker knows his limitations. He is severely injured right now. He obviously, every time he throws the ball, you can see he's in pain. Should he have shut himself down for the?
No, you can't do that. If you're medically cleared and your coach says he wants you to play, and you say no, that's going to look real bad in the locker room. Why do you think they were so mad? And OBJ did the exact same thing you said at the beginning of the year. He sat there in practice, and then right before the game, he's like, "Oh, I'm not feeling good. I don't want to play." Like, you're medically cleared to play. You practice all week. And what do they do next week? They're like, "You're sitting. You're not practicing. You're out."
Yep.
You can't do that. That's why I said Stefanski has to be the one that sits him. He can't sit himself.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Roger. You go ahead.
I just want to touch on that. I don't want a quarterback that's like, no, I'm good. They cleared me. They say I can play, but I'm going to sit out. I don't want that quarterback. The guy's got all the heart in the world. I want him to succeed so bad, and he had every chance Saturday night. He didn't have to win the game. He just needed to manage it, and that's all they were asking him to do. The defense said, hey, we're going to help you. Nick Chubb said, I'm going to help you. Even our shitty wide receiver room said, we're going to help you tonight. And he had it right there in front of him. And he's a guy that thrives off of all this bullshit. And his head's just not in there. And like you said, it's mental. And I'm so frustrated with him. Go ahead, Andy.
See, what you were just saying, though, that it was set up for him to manage the game last week. I don't think it was. What drove me nuts is this guy was off for a week and a half. He's been struggling already this year. Now he's off for a week and a half, and you made him the focal point of the offense. Why isn't Dearness Johnson in there more running? Like, it just drives. I don't even want to get flustered. I'm trying to get past this. We're on the Steelers. I hate the Steelers. Let's beat their asses.
It's Steeler week.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So just to come around, I agree that the frustrations, I think, for me, as it sounds like for you, comes down to the coach of the team. It is Stefanski. I love Stefanski, but I think he's a player's coach, and he's just going to say, you're my guy. If you say you want to go, you're going to go. And I think
like Tito.
Hopefully, as he matures into the head coaching duties, he'll understand that sometimes you have to be the coach of the team and say, like, actually, you're doing yourself more harm than good, or for the betterment of the team, I got to sit you. You have to make those. You got to make those calls, and I don't think he's capable of doing that right now, which is frustrating. I think we're saying the same thing, right?
Yeah, totally. Like if he has the cliche of a Bill Belichick, he can go sit down and no one's going to question you. But you sit your starting quarterback now, you might split that locker room. So it's not an easy decision by any means.
It's a very complicated situation.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of where I was getting at. That this isn't black or white. There's so many permutations to just what you said. We want to keep the locker room believing and happy, and as soon as you do things that piss off the locker room, your season's lost. You become the Jacksonville Jaguars because everyone's divided and talking crap about each other. Anyway.
I think you know what? You got a wide receiver room, and you had a guy in there that didn't want to be here all year, and he's talking in the ear of these young guys. And you saw that Higgins originally liked his dad's tweet, and I think Baker's confidence in his receivers because of how Baker's not in that wide receiver room, and those guys are talking, and Baker just looks like he don't trust them. He don't. I don't know what's wrong with him. I hope he figures it out. I wanted nothing more for this guy to succeed and be the guy, But with a broken locker room or just Baker not feeling comfortable with those people because there are people talking behind his back, and it's any kind of workplace situation. And we've all probably been involved with that there's one asshole, and he's whispering about people behind people's backs. And I just don't think it's this. I think Kevin Stefanski had a virtual locker room last year, and this is his first experience with a live locker room with a pulse, interacting with each other on a daily basis. And I think Kevin Stefanski may have learned a lot this year, how to control and how to manage a locker room. We have to remember he's a sophomore year coach. It's his first experience with that, where last year everything's virtual. He's a nerd, and he had that down. He can handle that. And
Thank you.
This year he had a live locker room with the guys talking. They're all young kids, and I think he learned a lot how to manage a locker room this year.
And we got to close out because we got to move on. But AB is so intelligent, and I think his ability to understand exactly what is going wrong with this season and where people need to grow, where people need to get better. I think he's going to be able to sit down with Kevin, with Alex Van Pelt, with whomever he needs to sit down with, and Baker, and just explain very intelligently, like, here's what we need to do. Here's what we need to be better. This offseason, and we need to hit the offseason because I think you're right. We have an elite roster. We don't have an elite team. We need to figure out the mistakes that we've had this season. My dad actually brought up a really point that I completely disagree with him before the season, that we made a mistake by not trading OBJ this offseason. And we probably couldn't have gotten anything for him due to his injury. But where would we be right now if we had traded OBJ? Would we be better off without all the distractions that whole situation may have caused? So my dad might have been onto something. So I'm giving him props. I don't know. I might be wrong. But I think, sorry to keep talking. I know we want to get this show under an hour. It's not going to happen tonight, but hopefully we'll get there next week. I think the Browns.
Yeah, like we say on our show, it's your show. Do whatever the hell you want. You ain't got no rules to follow but your own.
See, you got to come and replace Ross,
right?
Not Ed, because I love Ed. If I wink, I think I'm going to have to set up my hat. So I'm not winking. My point is that. Oh my gosh! Did I lose my point? I might have lost my point in that dumb joke. Robots.
You had a point.
I did have a point. What was I saying? Start there.
Trading OBJ, your dad's point.
Yes.
Trading OBJ at the beginning of the season, which I think is impossible.
Yeah, you probably couldn't have done it. It would have caused too much distraction. And I think maybe this team's too focused on like not being national headline distraction news. Maybe they need sometimes to just do what they believe in and not be worried about how the NFL is going to react to them. Maybe that's something we'll learn this offseason.
Go ahead, Jay. Three of your top four weapons were gone. You lost OBJ. You had whatever happened with him and his problem with us. Then you lost Kareem Hunt and Landry, dude. Those are, I mean, how many offenses can lose 3 out of the 4 best weapons and then continue on going? Like, if Cincinnati loses 2 of those receivers and their tight end, well, guess what? Joe Burrow's going to look like he sucks all of a sudden.
All right, so I'm going to just point out the Baltimore Ravens. They lost like everyone, all their weapons, and yet they're
got lucky in one, and their offense looked like crap, if you want my opinion.
And they have a kicker that can neutralize adversity, which we
Justin
don't
Mother Tucker
from 75 yards out.
Because what would the record be if they had our kicker situation and we had theirs?
Yeah.
Like
exactly,
we're
probably in first place right now. To be honest,
I think we would 100% be. They wouldn't have been able to kick the 60. What was it? 3-yard against Detroit. The kick against us. We lost a couple games due to our kicking. So yeah, 100% would be totally flat. We both had insane adversity, and they were able to neutralize it with their kicker.
I mean, they lost their running back. That was their big weapon, which is the easiest spot to fix. And then they lost some linemen, like we lost linemen, but I still don't think they had nearly the losses we have. Who was the receiver that got hurt?
Didn't they lose like their top 2 guys?
Well, they got Sammy Watkins. That dude gets hurt every day.
Well, they lost a running back, so like whole running back room went down.
JK and Gus Edwards, trust me, I had him in fantasy. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Let's conclude this talk by saying 2022 is going to be our year. We're going to move on to our next game, which is the basically the NFL Pick'em. We're gonna make picks on 3 games. Jay, you're gonna represent the fans, which we do this every week. Roger, me, and then we're all trying to compete against my 3-year-old daughter who makes picks to see who can win. Let me give you a little update on last week. This is amazing. The fans last week lost all 3 games, which has never happened before.
I saw that.
Roger, you got 1 pick right. And me and my daughter actually got 2 picks right. I started out an abysmal 2-14, and now I am 4 points out of first place because the fans are in first place with 18 picks correct. Krista moved into second place. She overcame you, Roger. She's at 16. Roger, you're at 15, and I'm only 1 point behind last place at 14. All I want to do is not be in the basement. So we're going to hopefully get there in the next couple of weeks. We're going to keep doing this in the playoffs too. So
she makes Jimmy the Greek look like an amateur, your daughter. She took me over. I said she makes Jimmy the Greek look like an amateur. Yeah. She's good.
Well, hopefully,
she's good.
Hopefully you'll have a good week this week because you didn't have a good week last week. So first game we're going to do, the Rams are giving 3.5 points when they go into Baltimore and play the Baltimore Ravens. So, Roger, we'll start with you. Who is going to cover that game and why?
I'm going to give Baltimore. I'm taking the Rams, giving Baltimore 2.5, and because Detroit Matt is going to go in there and he's going to light it up with Cooper Kupp, and they're going to beat the Baltimore Ravens. I'll give the Ravens 2. No problem. I'm going to take the Rams.
All right. And I like that outcome. That helps the Browns out. I'm also going to agree. Injuries are catching up with the Ravens, and Lamar is finally coming back just in time to shit his pants again. So, Rams. Jay?
I'm going to have to go with the Rams, too. Matt Stafford's going to exploit that no secondary they have. And I think Aaron Donald's just going to eat up Lamar Jackson because he don't look too healthy yet.
No.
All right. Game number 2. This is crazy. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going into New England, and New England is a 15.5 point favorite. I'm going to start us off. And anytime you see an NFL spread this big, bet against it. You're always going to win money, so I am taking the Jaguars. Jay.
I want to watch what Roger does first, please.
All right. Fair enough, Roger.
Okay. Fair enough. You know what? I'm gonna take a hoodie, and I'm taking the Pats, and I'm gonna give them the points at 15.5. I'm gonna say a 3 touchdown game. Poor Jacksonville. they were infected with Urban Meyer, and I feel bad for him. I'm going to take the pass.
Worst coaching hire, since the Browns.
I knew it. I said it. Nobody want to listen to me.
What, you called that Urban Meyer is going to be a disaster?
Of course, I'm a Michigan fan.
I think everyone was on. You weren't the only one that called that.
I was the only one on Twitter, Andy. All the Buckeye fans thought he was going to win a Super Bowl this year.
All right, Jay, what do you say?
Man, that's tough because God, Jacksonville's just straight garbage.
They're great.
But that is a lot of points, man.
A lot of points.
I'll probably have to take the points with Jaguars, to be honest with you.
All right, final game, and this is a critical one. Browns fans will definitely be watching this one. The Kansas City Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites as they head into the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, if the Chiefs win this game, the playoffs are still in sight. So, Jay, what do you think is going to happen in this one?
Give me the Chiefs. Their defense is balling out, and I don't have faith in Cincinnati's O-line.
All right. Roger?
I'm going to take Cincy plus 5.5, but I think Cincy's going to lose. And I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to come down with field goal.
As long as they lose, the Bengals are one of those annoying teams that one day look like totally elite, and then the next week they look like they're dead. I love Joe Burrows, but Bengals are protecting him. And I just think the Chiefs are a better team, and they're going to win this one. So I'm taking the Chiefs to cover that one. All right. And now the last thing we're going to do before we can get out of here is we are going to, every episode of the Dog Jug, we play a game with our guest. It's always a different game. And basically, if you win the game, you're going to be in the running to come to a Browns game next Sunday with me and Roger to watch the Browns beat the Cincinnati Bengals to go to the playoffs. However, I'm pointing this out for the second week in a row that my availability for this is very limited, as I don't think by January 9th, I'm going to be in a position where I'm allowed to go to a Browns game, given everything that's going on with COVID. So we'll figure all that out. But essentially, if you win, you have the opportunity to come to the game, or you can say you don't want to come with us and we'll auction your ticket off. And however much cash we raise, we will give it all to you, which is super exciting.
I'll make you a deal.
Yeah.
Seeing I'm a season ticket holder, if I win, you auction off that ticket and you donate it to the food bank.
Fair enough. That's awesome.
Fair enough. Beautiful. Thank you, Jay.
Appreciate that. We'll probably get, if things go the way that Vegas expects to go this week, if the Browns win, if the Bengals lose and the Ravens lose, all of a sudden that week 18 contest is going to be critically important, and maybe we'll raise a lot of money for it.
I called that too.
Looking at ticket prices, they're going up. The resale
I called
value
that,
is going
Andy.
up.
Yeah, you have been saying that.
I have been saying that last game is going to be a big game.
All right. Well, let's play the game. So here's the game. I'm going to read you essentially the status of an NFL team that we've seen throughout history. Like the 2012 Browns were at this position. Did they make the playoffs or did they not make the playoffs? All you have to do is answer that question. Did they make the playoffs or did they not? You're a big football fan, so you probably remember some of these teams, so it'll be very easy. The latest team I picked was from 2006. So we'll get right started. In 2015, Andy Reid's and Dorsey's third year with the organization, with Alex Smith at quarterback, the Chiefs started the season 1-5 and were 5 games behind the Denver Broncos for first place. Did they or did they not make the playoffs? Now we're turning it.
They did.
They did. That is correct. They won 10 consecutive games to finish 11-5 with a wild card berth, and they beat the Texans in the playoffs 30-0. So you're 1-0. I'm gonna do 7 of these. If you get 4 right, you win. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
In 2018, this is so recent, you probably remember how this occurred. The Pittsburgh Steelers ripped off 6 wins in a row in the middle of the season. Ben threw for the most yards in the league. Antonio Brown had 15 touchdowns, and James Conner made the Pro Bowl. Did they make the playoffs?
No.
They did not.
Did not.
Do you remember why they didn't make the playoffs?
No, I don't remember. I was
They
just
did
going to
not
say
make the
because
playoffs
they
because they
suck and they're
tied the
Steelers.
Browns week 1. Thank you, Hugh Jackson. That's the only thing I get to say positive about
The
you.
tie.
The tie fucked them over because
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
last game out of first place, and they actually owned the tiebreakers against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
I was at that game and I left so confused. I'm like, am I happy? Am I sad? I don't know what I am right now as a fan.
I remember leaving that game too. I was happy, which you shouldn't be happy after a tie, but at that point of our Browns fandom, it felt like something. I think we lost like an insane amount of games to the Pittsburgh Steelers before that, so at least we didn't get another loss. I don't know.
Right.
It was something.
How sad is that?
It is very sad. Well, thank
sad.
God we've come a long way since then, right? Now
Yeah.
we're a mediocre team and we're all pissed off. Also in 2018, the Philadelphia Eagles started the season 4-6 and lost their starting quarterback Carson Wentz. Did they make the playoffs?
Yes.
That is correct. They finished
It's a softball.
5 of their 6 games to earn a wild card and were defeated by. Does anyone remember how they lost in the playoffs? It had something to do with a former Cleveland Brown and who became a Cleveland Brown again down the road. All
I
right.
can't remember.
They played the Chicago Bears and Cody Parkey had that
Cody
double
Parkey.
doink crazy field goal kick, and then he had to join the witness protection program because everyone wanted to murder him in that stupid city of Chicago. All right, you're 3-0, so technically you just have to win one more. Well, let's see how you do, because I think you got this. You are a football fan for sure. In 2012, the Chicago Bears started 7-1. They scored a total of 9 defensive touchdowns, and Brandon Marshall led the league in receiving yards. Did they make the playoffs that season?
No. This is total guess.
They finished 3-5 down the stretch to finish 10-6 for third place in the NFC North, and they did not make the playoffs.
Is that when
So
Jay
you've
Cutler was yelling at his linemen left and right, and there's just constantly flipping out on his teammates?
I think that does
Yeah.
seem right. All right. Well, this is fun. Let's see if you can go 7 for 7. In 2006, the Chicago Bears started the season 7-0 and sent 8 players to the Pro Bowl, including Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, and Tommy Harris. But with the quarterback room of Brian Greasy and Rex Grossman, did they make the playoffs?
Yes. Didn't they make the Super Bowl?
They did make the Super Bowl. They went 13-3 that season and lost in the Super Bowl to the
Colts.
That is correct. You're amazing.
Peyton Manning. Yep.
Rex Grossman was the starting quarterback in the Super Bowl. I'll never forget it.
What about when Baltimore Ravens, their first Super Bowl win, who was their quarterback?
Elvis Gerback.
Trent Dilfer.
Oh,
Dilfer.
Yeah.
Dilfer.
I can't stand him, and he hates Cleveland too. He always takes shots at us.
He does always take shots at us. Fuck that guy. And although we did have a shitty team that he had to be on, right? When he was here, it wasn't a good situation for him.
Fuck him.
Fuck him. In 2011, the Atlanta Falcons started 4-3 after trading with the Browns and drafting Julio Jones, and they got 80 receptions from Tony Gonzalez and 1,300 yards and 100 catches from Roddy White. Did they make the playoffs?
I think so. I'm guessing on this one.
They
This
did
is a
make the
guess.
playoffs. They finished 10-6. They won a wild card game and managed to score. Oh, 10-6. They won a wild card and they managed to score a whopping 2 points in the postseason with all that offensive talent. So, final question. This is a really tough one. So, sorry if you don't go 7-0. But in 2017, the Cleveland Browns went into the bye at 0-8. But we're still confident that with rookie phenom Deshaun Kaiser, the Crow at running back, and a little guy named Myles Garrett, they were going to come back and win the playoffs. Did they make the playoffs?
No.
That's correct. They didn't win another game. Wow, you did perfect. That's amazing. I'm actually going to give you 2 entries into our contest because you went perfect. No one has gone perfect. And if you win, then money goes to the food bank. That's awesome.
Always perfect Jay now.
Always perfect.
Perfect, Jay. I don't think anybody's ever done that to you, Andy. I mean, you sent Mick from in Australia packing. Andy don't want anybody to win this game. You did awesome. You did awesome, man. Hey, Ross is still here.
Before I was on this podcast, I was a guest. I won my chug challenge. How is that not perfect? You can literally not lose. You either go 0-1 or you go 1-0.
Well, you're on the show now, so you can't win. I have to take.
And I do have season tickets, like Positive J over here. So I guess
Kelly went 13-1. 13-1. Isn't that
perfect?
The Buckeyes would have got into the college football playoff if they would have only lost 1 game. So that to me that equals that. 7 for 7 or 13-1. No, Jay's a great guy. 2 entries for Jay. No problem. I have no problem with that. No problem.
Hey, it's going to charity.
It's going. Yes.
All right.
Well,
feed the need.
We've gone over on our show as we do every week, which is why this won't be the best one, but I'm sure we're going to be great next week. But I want to end it out by going around the room. We'll start with Ross. And basically, what's your New Year's resolution for the Cleveland Browns? What do they need to do for next season? What's your wish list? What's your number one wish list? Ross,
I just want a ball hawk elite receiver. You just chuck the ball up, they get it, they bring it down. That's it. Get it however you got to get it. Free agency, draft, do what you got to do.
Roger?
I'm kind of on the same page. I want some linebackers too, though. You know, I want DPJ and Swartz to be tucked away. Everybody else in that wide receiver room get shipped off somewhere. Bring in some talent, but I'm looking for some linebackers to go with Phillips and JOK, and we need some defensive tackles. That's my wish. Linebackers, tackles, and wide receivers.
Our good friend Jessica said Dan had Urban Meyers as the loss. I don't know that many people of our 5 people that are watching this are going to get that, but that makes me laugh so hysterically.
That was a running joke for like 3 weeks. Poor Dan. He told me he was going to be watching tonight, but he was going to be drunk. And I told him just come half drunk and finish the job during the chug. And I don't think he followed my advice.
I am going to answer this question very simply. I've already alluded to it. I want the Browns to take kicker more seriously. Instead of bringing guys that we all have no confidence in, I want us to actually go get a kicker. I know we're not supposed to draft a kicker, but we need a kicker that we can have here for the next 10 to 15 years, like Phil Dawson, that every time we need him, he's there. Like we pointed out, if the Ravens didn't have Tucker, they would not be in the position they are. If the Browns had a kicker, we would not be in the position we are. There's so much adversity in football. Kicker is kind of the adversity pill, in my opinion. So I want a kicker. Ed.
Shout out to True Dog. Shout out to Mick. Shout out to Papa Nick or Papa. Yeah. All our guys in our group and everything. I want to shout out to Elfman. I also want to shout out to Jim Ream says, Manch, what's up? Jason, like I said, giving great comments tonight. So I got to give a shout out to our guys. But you know what I really want for the Cleveland Browns? It's got to be more defense. The Bengals are going to have offense. They got guys 25 years and under. They're going to be an offensive, formidable foe for the next decade. So we got to shore up the defense, get the dog pound back, play Cleveland Browns football, and that's shut shit down. That's going to happen Monday night in Pittsburgh and then Sunday against the Bungles. And let's go Browns. Happy New Year's, everybody. 2022 is going to be our year, but we got some unfinished business in 2021. And let's go Browns.
Wow. Jay, before you go, I just want to point out, Ed, that was excellent done. You didn't go too long or anything. That was fantastic. Well done. You're the best. Jay?
I want an identity for our offense. I want them to stick to it. Like, we were supposed to be a running team, everyone thought, and they just didn't stick to it this year, it felt like. But just want an identity and roll with it.
Well,
and please score more than 14 points a game.
They're building towards that, right? They re-signed their offensive lineman that helped the run game. They re-signed Nick Chubb. They're putting their bags in, let's be a run team first. But you're right. They didn't stick to it this year. I think that has to do with the fact that you got to be able to prove you can pass to be able to run, and they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Kevin Stefanski's his whole offense is, I want teams to not know what I'm going to do. I want to disguise the run and the pass. If you can't do one or the other, then you can't disguise it. Teams could say you're going to run, where they could shut it down. We have to be able to have a passing game to have a running game with Kevin Stefanski, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm never going to drink surges again during this. Sorry for my performance. Anyone else have anything they want to say? Ed, you always have something you want to say. You
always got. Yeah.
you
I figured if I would kind of just throw you a curveball and not talk and ramble like I usually do, then you would talk and ramble. Oh, you did. I was doing anything I could do to get that Guardians hat, but now I'm thinking about sending you a Guardians hat because you won't shut up. So I don't know if this Ed thing's contagious, but I can't wait till we take over Ross, and we're gonna have some fun. And Jay, as always, positive. Unfortunately, your positivity wore off on Andy, and now I'm not gonna get a hat. So hey, it is what it is. But I love you, brother.
We'll come down to Cleveland, get to that pro shop. I'll meet you down there.
Absolutely.
Jay, you
positively
are amazing. I hope you can come back on for an episode.
I'll come on whenever you guys want, man.
We're gonna have we have so many great ideas for this offseason to entertain everyone and have fun.
Yeah,
we'd love to have you back anytime. You were fantastic. Anyone else have anything to say?
I want to wish.
Fuck the Steelers. Fuck the Steelers.
Fuck the Steelers. I want to wish everybody a happy New Year. Be kind to each other, and go fucking Browns, man. Fuck
I
the
ride
Steelers.
with Cleveland. I ride with Cleveland.
Jay, what do you think? You're on a professional podcast. What do you think of our little thing here?
Shout out to Kevin. I shout out to Kevin. I didn't see Winnie Cooper, but I saw Kevin Arnold was down with us. And I wonder where Nick Paulus is. Maybe you're sleeping. I'm going to be on RBS tomorrow morning. If you are, I may call you up, brother.
You think Kevin will give us a plug?
Of course.
I'm joking.
Kevin's the professional.
He's a professional, man. When I watch it, he's good, man.
He's so good.
Yeah,
he's good.
We talk sports tonight.
Get him on air.
It's like watching. Yeah, he's a professional, man. He's good. I saw that. I watched that before I even started talking to you on Twitter, and I don't know how it all happened, but the only show you had up there on your page, the last one I saw was the Ravens after the Ravens win, and I'm watching it the other day, and I'm thinking Jay's coming on our show, and I'm watching his professional, podcast that you're on. He's like, oh my God, he's going to be on the Dog Show.
Yeah, shout out Voice of the Land, not Voices of the Browns, Voices of this. It's Voice of the Land. It's a great
Voice of the Land. It's an entity all in
itself. We love you guys. We
Right.
love you guys.
Thank you, Ed, for pointing out my mistake. I appreciate you making me be better.
Yeah.
Usually I end every podcast with Go Browns, but I think for this situation, Go Chiefs actually is more important. So I'm going to say, Go Chiefs!
Go Browns!
Go Chiefs!
Go Chiefs! Go Browns! Fuck
Oh.
Pittsburgh!